How good of a night was Ser Arlan?
Should HBO have cut this adult content and made the show PG-13?
Does Egg swear better than you do?
All that and more on this episode of The Joffrey of Podcast.
I've been very busy. Many important matters require king's attention. I'm king now. King now. I am king. I am king. I am kiss it. I am kiss it again when I return. Your fingers or your king doesn't fingers discuss your battle plan. He's one, but your fingers or your tongue. I am the king. I'm telling mother.
Welcome to the Joffrey of Podcast. My name's Bubba, and with me, as always, is someone who proves that podcasting has fallen on sad days. It's Catfish.
Bubba, I have to say, it is a bit of a come down to pod with someone whose sword does not compare to Ser Arlan's, but I'm ready to go ahead and do it anyway. We are going to be breaking down A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, Season 1, Episode 2, Hard Salt Beef. Boy, there's a lot of allusion to Ser Arlan's sword on tonight's episode, but the breakdown of it is Dunk appeals to several lords to gain entry into the tournament, but Egg advises him to hold on to his pride. When the Targaryens arrive at Ashford, Dunk seizes the moment with Prince Baelor. Oh my God, Bubba, on this podcast, we're going to play our classic match games. We're going to talk about the characters and debate, and end each week in the list as we challenge each other in the tourney for the ultimate champion's purse. But Bubba, as you know, before we do that, we always say when you join us for the podcast, you're like the third person, and we always say, who cares what we think? We want to know what you think. So, Bubba, what do you think?
I'm going to give this second episode hard salt beef. I'm going to give it 8 double Fs out of 10.
Oh, yeah, double Fs?
Floppy fish. And I'm not talking about Ser Arlan. I'm talking about the guy who bit a fish and threw it into the crowd.
Oof.
My rating is very similar to last week. 8 out of 10. This is a good watch. This is a fun watch. I laugh out loud occasionally at this show, and I did in this episode. Dunk, when he's talking to this prince, he's like, I trust that your missing sons won't be found dead. What a comforting way to say it. I love it. I want to start doing it to everybody I know. Like, hey, I hope that job you're worried you're going to get fired from doesn't can your ass. I mean, this is great.
Right.
This is
your
great.
Your company's probably not going to collapse in this economy. Bubba, all right, so hold on a second.
Yeah.
You're going to keep going here. But once the second week in a row, I'm very disappointed with your rating of the episode. Whoa. What is bringing it down?
Nothing's bringing it down. But I do think that 8 out of 10, why it can't get above an 8 from these first two episodes is, and again, book listeners to this podcast, I have read this book and I know the story. And just like I did a bit last week, it feels a bit odd. We're now 1/3 of the way through the series, and it really hasn't begun what I really consider the story. And it also feels like it's very true of, okay, this would happen, this would happen, this would happen, this would happen. But again, last week I compared it to Rocky, and I watched somebody's video on episode 2, and they were comparing episode 2 to Rocky, and I'm like, hey, great minds think alike. So I'm going to compare.
They stole your shit?
They did. I'm going to compare this to Star Wars, though. Star Wars, everybody knows it. I use that as an example because, hey, Luke doesn't really get on with his adventure until the Empire has R.I.P. killed his aunt and uncle. It's like that finally causes Luke to get up off the couch and get on with the adventure. And as somebody who knows the story, it is very, as fun as it is to watch this show, there's no complaints. It is very fun and a great watch.
Yes.
I'm also very aware, and once again, hopefully this is only true of me as a book reader, that Aunt Em and Uncle Owen are, that's Wizard of Oz, that Aunt Beru and Uncle Owen are still alive. Luke hasn't gotten up off the couch and begun his journey yet. So for me, because the story hasn't really started yet, it can't get above an 8. But that's my thought. I tell the listeners my thought is just one thought. Who cares? I want to know, Catfish, not only what our listeners think, but what you think.
You are so wrong on this, Bubba, and I
Wrong.
need all the listeners to rise up in outrage against you.
Okay.
Listen,
Yeah.
this episode gets 9 BDEs out of 10.
You know what? I'm very worried. I know what BDEs are, but I'm going to still
Yeah.
go ahead and ask, what do you mean by BDE?
Brilliant dishes by egg. What do you think it means? Bubba, this show goes down like eel pie. It just
Oh, wow.
slides down my throat. It is delicious. It is so much fun. You know, before we, to take you behind the scenes, some listeners may not think of this, but we actually prepare before we do these podcasts.
No.
And I was trying to think of what my favorite scene was, and I'm like, all these scenes are great.
Yes.
The scenes with Dunk are great. The
Yep.
scenes with the Kingsguard are great.
Yep.
The scenes with Targaryen, it's just so much fun, and I don't feel like it's too slow. I feel like
I
I'm
don't
still
think
getting
it's
to know
slow.
these characters. Well, okay, but then if it's not slow, then the pace must be good, and therefore I'm not bored.
Right.
Everything is a delight to me. Therefore, anybody who would only give this 8 out of 10 is really just measuring it unfairly against the books. That's all.
I'm measuring it unfairly against Ser Arlan.
Ser Arlan. Okay, absolutely. But okay, this is a delight. The show
Yes.
continues to be a delight. So there you go.
I 100% agree. I've never been so personally attacked because I scored something exactly 1 point less than you did.
That's right.
Like
You
so-
deserve it. That's important.
Okay, that one single point. It's like, is Ser Arlan going to get to 11? He gets to 11.
Well, listen, it's every episode you're racking up a point deficit that you're going to be unable to come back from.
Okay, that's 100% true. Listeners, we've given you our thoughts. If you're watching this on YouTube, go ahead and hit that like. We really need likes. Give us your comment. We need your comment. YouTube has something called Hypes now, and it's not on every video, but if you can hype this video, find that little button and hype this video up.
Hype it. And
but
remember,
really, we want your comment.
If you give the thumbs up, that doesn't mean that you agree with Bubba's rating. Thumbs up, and then underneath put Catfish was right. That's completely acceptable.
What if they go Catfish was only a 9? Get him out of here. Get him out of here.
Perfect. They can say that too. Just know I'm on your side more than Bubba. They missed this word on page 3 of the novelette.
This has nothing to do with page 3. It has everything to do with, I know that this story hasn't really started. I know that Rocky hasn't gotten his match set up with Apollo Creed. I know that Luke is still there on the moisture farm hanging out. And I love this show so much. But I can see how it can go even higher once suddenly the story really kicks off. How about that?
You just need to tell yourself what Ser Arlan told all the ladies. Just sit back and enjoy it.
We are editing that out. You think I mean, that is so offensive. Not to Ser Arlan, but to all those ladies. Offensive. All those maidens. Actually, even in the first scene, wasn't he paying for it? Wasn't that what we were supposed to take? He's leaving that village, and even though he's the knight, he was giving up coin. He wasn't getting coin for like protecting the village or something. He was giving coin. So I thought he was
just donating to the poor.
The poor, he'd be giving money to himself if he was donating to the poor.
There are people poorer than him in many ways.
Boy, we are really in trouble. So to stay in trouble, let's go to match game 1, Catfish. Match game.
Love it.
If you are new, this is completely light, fun, tongue-in-cheek, a way for us to interact with you, the third member of this podcasting team.
Funny, Bubba, is you started to do this, and this is of all the podcasts, of all the games, this is my favorite. I think it's brilliant that you came up with it. But the funny thing is, we started to do it just to add some levity to the House of Dragon, and now it's talking about the show brings out levity, but like you cannot skip the match game. So, Bub, what's our first match game question?
Known to many knights as Ser Arlan of Penetry, yet known to many maidens who call him Ser Arlan of blank. Do 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 wow do 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 wow do 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 do. Catfish, known as Ser Arlan of Penetry, yet many maidens call him Ser Arlan of
the tripod.
Oh. Are you kidding? What if one leg of the tripod is much longer than the other two? I mean, dear Lord.
I didn't say that the tripod was stable.
Okay, yeah. I thought, well, if they call him Ser Arlan of Penetry, the maidens might call him Ser Arlan of Long Branch. Hello.
Oh, or Ser Arlan of Dollar Tree.
Well, Catfish, when we ask a question like this, we know that sometimes we love celebrating matches. In this question, they're all a match. Let's go ahead and ring the bell.
All right, but let's say this,
everybody
Bubba.
has great matches.
Let's say for this one, since we know it's all going to be euphemisms, that it has to be exact word for word.
Okay, fair enough. All right, so our good buddy Patman Spinagle at Patman on Blue Sky says, many maidens call him Ser Arlan of Pipe Laying. House words, this pipe must be laid. Oh my goodness gracious.
All right, and Mr. Bill's Mafia at Revere Terry says maidens call him Ser Arlan of the Tripod.
Exact match. Heck yeah. Gen X Catmom at Allmod Cons on Blue Sky calls him Ser Arlan of Tube Snake Boogie.
And you know what? Jack Klompus, BT Mac 11.
So good.
He makes me laugh so much.
Is so good.
I wish he was on the show instead of me, and then I can listen to it and laugh more than he does at me. He called him Ser Arlan of Dragonstone, but Draggin, Dragonstone. It's Dragonstone.
Another great listener. Long time. I mean, we're going back to our original Game of Thrones Joffrey podcast and Podcast Winterful buddy, Nicole, who's at Night Wolf Nim on Blue Sky, said they call him Ser Arlan of the Peckerwood.
That is delicious.
Oh, my God.
Nicholas Fortuna calls him Ser Arlan of the Long Junk.
Very close to Double M Matt Murdoch, who's Matthew Murdoch on Blue Sky. They call him Ser Arlan of the Double L.
Oh, Double L.
Logland.
Oh, that is also good. And he got a double in there. Dooley's left legs, been with us forever, calls him Ser Arlan hung like a tree.
Ouch.
And it's my opinion. At Chick's Opinion said Ser Arlan of Ain't no way.
Ain't no way.
Ain't no way. Ain't no way. That is so good. Bubba.
Yeah.
Just beautiful. Now, you promised last week it was going to get more difficult, but really, this week it was too much. It was too much. There is no way that this pod and all the discussion around it was not going to be centered on the one-eyed Dragonstone.
Catfish, let me ask you something, because we come up with these as we're watching the episode. It wasn't until because that was right in your face, right as the episode began.
It sure was.
There could have been a million great match games we didn't play. I've been thinking about, dunks like, oh, no, you're not too tall, Tansel. You're the perfect size for blank, and then of course Egg is the one who says puppets. Hey, there you go, so good.
I'm telling Mother.
That scene reminds me that it is time to get to your best scene of the episode, your favorite scene. These are compact, nice 30-minute episodes. Catfish, you went 9 out of 10. You were completely right. Picking just one scene in this great episode feels very weird tough, because all the scenes are strong, but was there one in particular where you went, that's it. That's where I'm sitting up and going, brilliant.
Just that I love Dunk's adventures with everybody, but I feel like it's important to me to see more of him and Egg together.
Yeah.
So that scene you just mentioned, it's right after they see the puppet master, and Dunk's like, I feel like that went bad.
Oh, man.
And there was a great interaction between both Dunk and Egg. It wasn't just Dunk asking about stuff. It was Egg asking about stuff. And
hey, can I be a squire? Yeah, can I be a knight? I'm kind of puny for my size.
Yeah, and then there was a brilliant moment where, Dunk says, a lot of people call me stupid. And then Egg's like, and what? What's your point here? And Dunk never finishes, really.
The end, right.
Yeah, the end. I thought that was a great scene. I really am... both these actors are doing a great job, and I just am excited to see more about them. And I feel like I don't know if you want to talk about this later, but we got a little inkling about Egg. Egg had sort of an interesting reaction, which to the Targaryens, where he kind of like hid from them, but then later on, when they had the tourney at night, he was on top of
Dunk's standing shoulder. Out.
So
yeah.
I'm not sure if that's going to lead anywhere, but it certainly seemed like it was going to lead somewhere.
Great point, Catfish. And I do want to get to that in a bit, but
okay.
I want to talk about something that, once again, we talked about after the first episode. This young child actor who plays Dunk, is he great or what? As a child actor, they ask him to do a lot of, dare I say, takes, like a lot of, double takes, like in that scene you're just talking where Dunk doesn't finish it. A lot of people called me stupid when I was younger. And, like he has great takes. And a kid could totally overact that, but he is so good.
It could have been funnier because he really could have hit the comedy hard.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not as funny, but it's also not like irritating. I feel like if he'd hit it harder, it would have been a little too sticky. And it's not.
He is doing great with this. In the scene where they were asking Tansel from the puppet troupe to paint the shield, and when Dunk is saying, "Oh, you're the perfect size for," an Egg whips his head around so quick, like, "What are you gonna say?" I thought that was a perfect take. I think you're right. The two of them together are already in the second episode a great team. In many ways, it is. All the best scenes have them together. I am going to go for a different scene, not because it's necessarily any better, but because it's my favorite scene. And that is the scene that had me thinking so much. And the scene is of Dunk approaching the royal princes. There are a million things in the scene that are slightly crazy. So I believe the scene, for me, almost begins when he's talking to the members of the Kingsguard, and the one Kingsguard says, "Yeah, I don't know how I got here either. My dad's a crabber." And it's almost like that gives him the impetus to break into the castle, right? He doesn't have permission to walk into that tunnel. He doesn't have permission to go up and talk to the two princes. And in fact, I'm watching this scene thinking, boy, the Kingsguard is doing a terrible job. Dunk could have been a villain sneaking in to kill them both.
They certainly are doing very shoddy work. Well, maybe they're digging a decent latrine.
Right.
Apparently there's no crapper in this town.
No. So there are a million things I love about this scene. I love Dunk listening. I love the 13-year-old girl. I'm not sure the show has really kind of hit this over the head, but the quote-unquote pretense for this tournament is that this girl of House Ashford is turning 13. The Lord Ashford's like, boy, if I could make her a great match with a bigger house than little old me, think of how great this will be for the family and for my daughter's future. So is it that Dunk is naive, that he feels like he can just approach literally the guy who's next in line to be king, and he's very respectful, but he is kind of, just going in and saying, hey, somebody's got to let me joust. Nobody remembers Ser Arlan.
It feels like he's done it with everybody else, right?
Oh, very true.
He's not been ashamed, so it feels to me like, to him, this is his last chance.
Oh, yeah.
And so, it is kind of funny that we don't really see his, like, I've got to do this, or, it didn't strike me now as you're talking about it, I realize how nuts it completely was, but it didn't seem as nuts to me now. Maybe it should have come across a little bit clearer that this was really kind of a crazy thing to do.
Well, he's going to make it happen. That's where you're getting to. He's going to make it happen. And for the first time, admittedly, this is only the second episode, but we've seen him try this with at least two people. And in the voiceover at the beginning of this episode, you understand that he's tried it with many people. He's tried to go to these people and say, hey, listen, Ser Arlan really helped you. He was a fighter in your cause. And all you have to do is say remember him and respect him and help him through helping me. And the fact that nobody is, and of course this is his big point at the end. Nobody remembers him at all, except almost the most important person that he's ever met. Like literally, this is like meeting the president of the United States and saying, "Hey, do you remember my teacher?" And then them saying yes. I mean, this is crazy.
I mean, there's certainly one way that Ser Arlan could have made himself memorable to everybody he met.
Right.
So if that's his mistake for not showing his best attribute.
100%. Do you feel like Dunk represented himself well? Now, of course, when you look at the table, the hand of the king, a.k.a. next in line to the throne, was almost very generous with him. The brother who, has kind of got a sour attitude, he's like, all right, listen, we took care of you. Get out of here.
A deliciously sour attitude.
I even like the steward who we met in the previous episode who loved spitting as he's trying to, give nonverbal communication to Dunk like, hey, that's good. Or, oh, God, don't do that. Really fun scene. A lot of information in that scene. And, of course, this in some ways, that's a fish out of water, right? Like here is a simple man suddenly in the king's court.
Head bit off.
Exactly.
It's true. I mean, all you have to say is, even though he is large, he comes across as not intimidating or dangerous. In fact, I think that's why most people are so dismissive of him, because he seems not intimidating in any way, despite his height.
Well, some are dismissive, but that also has very classically has a double-edged sword, because I think in some ways that's why also some people want to help him so much, right? Like the armor, Steely Pate, he goes by.
No. I definitely think
he did lower his fee. He's like, okay, this guy's very sincere. He's not threatening in any way.
I mean,
he needs
Bubba,
this is somebody who needs some help. I'm going to give him a discount.
Look, how many times have you gone somewhere? The trick is to just walk away, and then the price goes down. He's just like everybody else, Steely Pate.
Steely Pate. My prices can't be beat, so I guarantee it.
I'm telling Mother.
All right, buddy. Bubba.
Yeah.
Let's talk about, we've got the new characters. Every episode we're going to talk about the new characters. We're going to chat them up. So first we have just a whole ton of Targaryens in this episode.
Oh, my Lord.
And a little delicious chuckle for me. Prince Baelor Targaryen has about 6 different titles announces, and then they say, and his brother.
Right. He's literally getting the Gilligan's Island and the rest in the theme song. I mean, that's very, very cool.
Shouldn't the brother have some titles?
No, he's got to be a prince, right?
He's got to have some titles. Yes. He's got to have some little duchies that are his, or some whatever, Prince of the Fish Rocks, whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But amazing, his brother. Bubba, I mean, really, it's just like, I know that the namesake of our podcast is not Targaryen, Joffrey Baratheon. Yet he is blonde, and he is magnificent, as we always say.
Yes.
The greatest human being, real or fictional, in the entirety of the universe. And I just have to say, we need someone like him, and boy, did we get someone like him.
Are you going to say Steely Pate?
No, not Steely Pate. I kind of missed the names here, but I think you're saying that Arion? I thought it was the
Ser
brother.
Arlan.
I thought it was the brother, but it was the one who was just like, here, take care of this stable boy. Oh, no, you're not a stable boy? Well, get me a drink. Oh, God, you're a knight? Boy, the knights have really... Boy,
right.
This is just bad.
Prince Arion has standards, and he wants them held, just like King Joffrey does. I completely agree with you, Catfish.
He is an excellent jackass, and I thought to myself, is this... But every series, there has to be a hero for Bubba to latch onto. And I felt like, that's why I thought you'd give this episode a great rating, because you're like, finally, the hero showed up in episode 2. It's Aerion Targaryen.
Aerion Targaryen. His name rhymes. How can you dislike that, Catfish? How could you possibly?
You can't.
But what I was going to say is that I'm not sure the show actually even said this. His father is the one introduced as, and his brother Maekar. So his father also kind of has a bit of a salty attitude where he's talking to, he says, Father bade us to attend this miserable circus. And let me say, if my dad made me attend a miserable circus, I would be a bit bitter too. And so this...
Especially if you got introduced as, and Bubba.
Right, exactly. And this guy.
Catfish, co-host of the Joffrey of podcast,
yeah,
and several other podcasts, and Bubba.
Okay. Well, how about we go to the Hand of the King, soon to be heir to the throne, or currently heir to the throne, Prince Baelor Targaryen, played by that actor Bertie Carvel, who we covered in Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell. This character, to me, comes across as a bit like Jonathan Strange did. Jonathan Strange, though, had a bit of a twinkle in his eye, where I'm not sure this guy has too much of a twinkle. But he was a straight-up dude. He goes, I remember Ser Arlan. He broke 4 lances. Repeat, 4 lances.
4 lances.
4
Sorry,
lances.
Sir, 4 lances.
Check the records. Only 4 lances
listen,
against me.
The fact that he admitted that he broke 4 lances is quite noble of him.
Okay, so you like him? You think he's good guy?
I mean, compared to the rest of them, your heroes, he is, I would say boring.
Now, Prince Maekar, do you forgive him a bit because he said, I said F me, not F him? Like what a nice guy. He's like, no, I'm just cursing, dropping F-bombs, not at anyone, but at the world, to myself.
Right. I'm laughing with him, not at him.
Right.
Or I'm effing with him, not at him. No, wait, hold on a second.
So Maekar, we find out kind of a bit awkwardly, maybe as we listen in, as Dunk does, that Maekar has 2 sons missing. One of his sons he was forcing to get into the list, even though he agrees, yeah, if there's one kid who shouldn't be in the list, it's my son. So does that allow you to be salty if you got 2 missing kids? Maybe it does, Maybe it does.
You know what? He didn't... it seemed to me, and maybe I'm wrong, that his concern was more about his reputation than his actual son's safety?
Yeah, he said something about the one son he's trying to force into the list is like, yeah, listen, he's going to ship up or shape out. It was, he will change or I swear I'll see him dead. Thanks, Dad.
Well, he did say that one of them preferred riding horse to horses, and that was, hey, listen, everybody's got their thing.
He prefers horse to horses. My son came home just the other day, and the cat's in the cradle.
Man, way to bring down Spotify age 97.
Okay. Any thoughts? This one Targaryen, we really didn't spend any time on him. We saw he was Prince Valar Targaryen. He was in that night joust. And we know Egg said, yeah, I wouldn't bet on any money for him to win. Really no thoughts about him except, hey, he has dark hair, not the Targaryen silver blonde hair. So,
Well, I just want to be clear. So wasn't Egg saying I wouldn't bet on him?
Right. That's exactly what happened. Was Dunk was like, oh, he must be the favorite to win. And then Egg, I believe, said, I'll take that bet. Yeah, I don't know about that.
I did get that right. That's one for me.
So for Targaryens, if you had to rank them, who do you want to be king? Who do you want to be thrown into the narrow sea?
Obviously, Aerion, king.
Okay, thank you. You get it. He gets it.
I do get it. He's got that kingly mane to him.
Say that again. Any thoughts about good old Steely Pate, other than here's a character who Dunk has to butter up to so he can get some armor?
I mean, usually I mistrust people who speak of themselves in the third person, but on the other hand, that took away all the time necessary for someone to say, oh, you're looking for the best armor? It's Steely Pate. He's right over there. We cut that scene right out. He just says, Steely Pate makes the best armor. And you know what? He does remind me of the armorer in Army of Darkness. So that's
there
all
you go.
I'm going to say. It's a flashback to Army of Darkness.
Okay, now some characters we spent barely any time with. Lord Ashford, it's his tournament that we're throwing. He just kind of had one standout moment there in the council room with the Targaryens, where it feels like he's trying to get everybody on his side, and he's like, boy, just because he has an armor, that doesn't make him a knight. Am I right? And like, nobody backed him up. No. It's like, anybody? Is this thing on?
Yeah. It doesn't take much to be a lord.
How about his daughter, 13-year-old Lady Gwyn? Do you think she was acting that way because she thought, oh, Dunk is cute, or because she thought, I'm the lady of this house, this is my house, and I can treat anybody the way I want? Why was she so kind of, like, you're big and stupid?
I think she was thinking the same thing that everybody thinks, that Dunk must be his name because that means I get to dunk on him.
Yes, that is 100% true. 100% true. Who should we set her up with? Tommen? That's like the best that she could do.
Love it. All right, and then Bubba, we have the Kingsguard members.
Yeah.
Who were cool. They're all dressed up nice, and they have the funny little scene between him and them. I added a new segment to the show, Bubba, so I'll talk more about them later.
Okay, well, I thought the main thing about them, other than the one who desperately needed a good place to relieve himself, he was on that show, that actor was on that show, Moonflower Murders, that we cover here on Double PHQ. But it was like they were both, it's so interesting. We're talking about the caste system, class system. And so obviously they're in this fun middle ground where they are obviously, the King's Guard, they're guardsmen, but they can still look down at people. And it's once again, do you want to look down on somebody, or do you want to, kind of connect with somebody? And we literally had two of them, so we could see both takes on it. So I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, but I thought that the jibing was still even not that harsh by the one guy. He was, it was pretty gentle.
Right. Yeah. No, I completely agree. Any other returning characters who you really loved? Obviously, it felt like Egg had more to do this time. What do you think about Lionel Baratheon, who I was certainly a big fan of? Is in any instance, is it cool to leave the tug of war to go get a drink? I mean, that is officially, I'm saying it, hashtag not cool. I mean, it's cool if you're the one leaving, but
I feel like if you're paying for the drinks and the food, you can do whatever the F you want.
But you're leaving you know how there's that expression, you're leaving me hanging? He literally
never leave anybody. Yeah, he left Egg hanging. Yes. Never leave a man behind unless, of course, you're their better.
Oh, okay, there you go. Fair enough. I like that. Any thoughts on, we learned her name this week, Tansel Too Tall, the puppet lady. Dunk was trying to figure out, hey, do you think she likes me at all? Egg said, hey, she's going to paint your shield. And Dunk is honest. Well, she's doing it for coin. Do you see any spark there, or is this just a friendly lady and Dunk is very lonely?
My only concern is, Bubba, is that I mean, you know what? Just the older I get, the harder I have time figuring out people's ages who are young. She seems really young to me. She seems like 15 young.
Right. So Tansel, too tall, too young.
Yeah. Yeah. Completely agree.
Fair
but
enough.
she seems very sweet and unspoiled, so also then completely unbelievable.
So we know one thing. You know, shows can communicate things to us without dialogue. So what you're saying is they communicated to us that she had never met Ser Arlan.
I'm telling Mother. Oh.
He was called too tall, but only when he laid down.
How terrible. Edit. Listeners, if you're wondering why there's so many jump cuts in this.
That one could stay in.
Oh,
my God, so good. All right, Bubba, let's do it before we play our new game.
Yeah.
Let's go to match game 2, Bubba. Once again, Bubba comes up with these because he's the hard worker, and I just slide around on his coattails. Here is match game 2. To get some armor, Dunk sold his horse. It wasn't his first choice. Originally, he planned to sell blank. All right, Bubba. To get some armor, Dunk sold his horse. It wasn't his first choice. Originally, he planned to sell
his squire.
Oh!
To me, that's like the only thing he had was Egg. He's like, Egg, you really want to help me, right? You now belong to Steely Pate. Okay, so
all right, Bubba.
Okay. Selling his horse wasn't his first choice. Originally, Dunk planned to sell
the desiccated yet still magnificent member of Ser Arlan.
Doing? The man is...
I couldn't resist. Look, it's a curiosity. I bet people would pay to see it in a tent.
Oh my God, dude, in a tent, hello.
Yes. Well,
do you know how deep Dunk had to bury the poor man? Okay.
Pitched a tent for Arlen's tent.
Oh, brother.
All right, here we go. See, this is serious now. All right,
okay.
I'll read the question. You read the answers. To get some armor, Dunk sold his horse. It wasn't his first choice. Originally planned to sell.
From Bill's Mafia at Revere Terry, he originally planned to sell Egg.
Oh, Patman Spanego at Patman Blue Sky, he originally planned to sell
an egg.
Oh, Matthew Murdoch at Matthew Murdoch at Blue Sky, originally he planned to sell
Double P.
Poultry
products, eggs. Look at all these matches. Hell yeah.
All right, here we go. Okay, hold on, sorry. Dooley's left legs, he originally planned to sell
the priceless unicorn horn he purchased from the kindly merchant he met in one of the Flea Bottom's finest taverns.
Ring the bell. I think he's talking about
yes,
the same
I do
thing
too.
I
want to pretend he isn't, but
all right, okay. And then Nicole at Nightwolf Nim says originally he planned to sell
his double R's. His rancid rags. You know, his clothes are so stained up after his diarrhea explosion. Nicole, we didn't have to remember that. Oh.
All right. And finally, at Nicholas Fortuna says, to get some armor, Dunk sold his horse. It wasn't his first choice. Originally, he planned to sell
Ser Arlan's Weirwood.
Yes! Yes!
Match.
I'm not the only one fixated. All right, Bubba. I have got a new We Love It. I'm calling this game the Song of Fire and Ice Cold. We have got some ice cold dishes, and we might as well start keep tracking them and rate them, Bubba.
Okay.
All right. So the first one I have is Egg saying, call out Langthorn Tyrell and turn his arsehole into a lance hole.
Ice cold.
And the little guy to Dunk, where Dunk likes, who's here? He says, can't you see the banners, you giant? C word. And then your boy, Aerion Targaryen, looking at Dunk, knighthood has fallen on sad days.
Ice cold.
Sir Roland says to Dunk, do you ride your horse or does it ride you?
Ouch, ice cold.
And then Sir Donald says, forgive my brother, it's not often he has to look up to cast his eyes down.
Oh, ice cold. Hell.
All right, but what is your Song of Fire and Ice Cold line?
I'm giving it up to my character, Prince Aerion. Knighthood has fallen on sad days. What is especially brutal about this catfish?
Tell me.
Is sometimes you say an ice cold diss, really trying to hurt the person. Aerion said it just kind of like, accepting that life sucks.
Right, he just
oh
well.
Yep, things have gone downhill. Well, see ya.
You're just more proof of how sad and pathetic this world is. Bubba, I'm gonna go with Sir Roland's. Do you ride your horse or does it ride you?
Ouch.
Just ouch.
I'm telling Mother.
All right, Bubba, what's next?
Well, okay, this is also a new section, Catfish. We're calling it.
Tell me.
What does Catfish remember from this story? Listeners, if somehow you're new to us, a lot of our podcasts, both Catfish and I, have read this source material, so we kind of know the story as it originally was written. But also on most of our stories, or most of our podcasts, Catfish somehow can't recall the story that he claims he has read. So what's going to happen right now is I'm going to kind of probe Catfish and get him to make some predictions about the show.
Alien probe.
Alien probe. And we're going to see if somehow we can get him to remember this story that he read, what do you say, a decade ago? More, Catfish? How long
whenever
ago?
it came out first, that's when I read it, and I've never read it again.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask him questions. So this may be, some of these answers may be edited, but it's gonna be able for us to maybe talk about things that we haven't been talking about, because I don't want to say, because I don't want to spoil it, and Catfish just isn't making predictions because he's too busy enjoying these guys shitting themselves. So, all right, so Catfish, here's kind of the big one. What would you say, and I'm even going to try to ask these questions in a way that won't hopefully spoil the answer, but Catfish, what would you say, why do you think Ser Arlan knighted Dunk?
Wow, that is a great question. Just maybe he was drunk. I still am not completely sure. We've had flashbacks. I'm still not completely sure what kind of knight Ser Arlan was and how he really felt about Dunk. I mean, we hear stories. Finally, somebody confirms the story.
Yeah.
About Ser Arlan. Seems like he fought for a lot of people. Maybe it wasn't cause related, just sword for hire. He did seem, even though they cut away, like Dunk was just about to nearly murder him in the scene where we saw them sparring. So I'm still not sure their relationship. So I can, or what Ser Arlan was like. So I can't even really speculate why he knighted him.
Well,
or if he did. Are we sure he did?
Catfish, right at the very end, you got to the important question. When you read the short story, and when you have watched these first 2 episodes of A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, I think it's natural to question, well, did he do it? I mean, we are having flashbacks to see a lot of stuff, but we have not seen a flashback to him being knighted. And there are also contextual clues that you would wonder, even just based on the show, of like, wait a minute, you're saying that he knighted you in the rain? Theoretically, this happened near the end of the guy's life. You're saying that in the rain, he thought, oh, this is the perfect time for me to pull out my sword and put it on your shoulders and make you say these sacred vows and tell you to, protect the innocent and the weak. I think that's the big question that people always have. And is it dishonorable if Dunk is lying and if it never happened? What do you think?
I mean, I think it would be dishonorable. in the strict sense of it. I mean, we see that he thinks and we believe that he's got no other choice. I mean, I was thinking this is pretty much what he's been apprenticing as. Like, he can't even go and, it's not like he's not going to take over Hot Pie's job. Hot Pie's been baking for a long time, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like he doesn't have any... I mean, I guess they could use him as a big lug moving stuff around, but basically this is all he knows.
100%.
So he's got no other choice, really.
Fair enough. So it's not dishonorable to kind of tell a white lie if it didn't happen.
Oh, I think in the strict sense of the word, it completely is dishonorable. But I mean, it is. If you say you've been knighted, that's like a very special thing, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, the only way he can get away with it, I think, is if, you're going to succeed me as whatever, and he just didn't get to it because he was singing and falling off his horse.
No, I think that's perfect. All right, we're going to do a couple more. Once again, okay. Listeners, if you see some edits, it's just because I don't want to possibly spoil anything else in the story. Catfish, you already kind of hinted at it. What do you think is going on? Why did Little Egg, once the princes started showing up, he's like, maybe I'll go back to camp, eh? What do you think's going on there?
It was only when certain ones showed up. So I thought it just could be, I mean, we don't know where he comes from, but he's clean and he's well-spoken and seems to be sharp. And it's not like flea bottom smarts, it's like educated smarts. So I don't know, but I thought there was something, and then he's not afraid later on. He's not hiding later on. They're going to see him if he's squiring, if he can even hold the
lance,
the lance, which is what he's afraid of. So there seems like there's something there, but if there was, it feels like they tamped it down heavily later in the episode.
Understood. Okay, final thing, Catfish.
Okay.
You did read this book, but like anybody, time goes by, you can't really remember. Tell me, how do you think this story ends?
I just can't see him winning the tournament.
Him being Dunk. You don't see there's any way.
I can't see Dunk winning the tournament, but I don't know how he's going to lose it, but also keep all his stuff.
Unless it's his boy,
who's like, hey, you know what? I got in my pocket change. You helped us win the tug of war, so I'll let you keep your shit.
No, I think actually that's a great prediction. We heard in this episode that Baelor Targaryen, after only 4 lances, took down Ser Arlan, but he didn't make Ser Arlan ransom his stuff back. He just said, yeah, here, keep your stuff, it's fine. So I think that's a good prediction. Listeners, if you haven't read the book, what do you predict for the end of Season 1? At the end of this tournament, how's it going to end? Go down in the comments, let us know on social media. We're at Double PHQ, the word double, the single letter P for podcast, HQ for headquarters, at Double PHQ.
I'm telling Mother.
Catfish, what's next is every week here on the Joffrey Cod Pieces. Every week here on the Joffrey podcast, we're going to pick a champion for the episode. This is the character who won the episode. Not necessarily won a joust or won a battle or even won a puppet show, but who won the episode? Who was your episode MVP? Who won it? Who you got, Catfish?
Well, Bubba, I'm going to let you have your guy first, so I'm going to let you go.
Well, I'm going to go crazy. I'm actually going to give it to Dunk. He lost a horse that he loved, but he's in the tournament. Give me a shot. You have to be in it to win it. That's true of the joust. That's true of lottery tickets. You have to be in. Dunk got in. I think Dunk won the episode.
Wow. That is amazing. I am going to give it to, and again, I'm going to mess up which Targaryen this is. The grumbly one in the meeting with the beard, just like big whooping his way through that scene. He is my winner of the week.
Makar, a.k.a. his brother.
His brother. Thank you. Yeah, his brother.
Who do you have as a champion of the week? Let us know. We love your feedback. And finally, before we get to your great feedback, we're going to have our tournament battle. Catfish and I are going to enter the list and battle it out, and only one can emerge victorious. This week, Catfish, it's a crazy question, and I'm not going to say which way I'm going to go on it. I want to hear your thoughts first. We asked at the beginning of the episode, should HBO have cut some of the adult content? The pooping in episode 1, the manhood in episode 2. Those scenes color the episode, but they really don't have anything too much to do with the story. You cut that stuff, and you probably could and cut some of the language too, maybe. You could show this to kids and young teens, but it's in. What do you think? Is it right to keep that stuff in because that's the world of Westeros, HBO has shown us on 2 previous shows? Or do you remove it because it doesn't necessarily add story things and hopefully get a bigger audience? What says you? Keep the adult content or lose it? What do you say?
Well, I'm just gonna ask you a question that's going to give you a hint of which way I'm going.
Okay.
Is this show on HBO or is it on Disney Plus?
Well, I have a bundle, so therefore it's on HBO. It's on HBO Max. It is on
HBO. This is the world of Westeros. You cannot Disneyfy it. I always say with Disney, with the Star Wars, I love the shows that appeal to different people and the different types of genres. Like we've had some really heavy duty shows. This is one is a little bit more comedic. But I feel like if you sanitized it this much to make it PG-13, it's not the world of Westeros anymore. It's just too sanitized. And this is what, I've always said about, like, why one of the things I did not like about Rings of Power was, and I read a review one time, and the line I remember from the review that sort of capsulated my thoughts about the look of that show is they said that the dirt looked like it had been swept. So this is the grimy, down and dirty. We're gonna have to keep it in this world. We're gonna have a lot of violence already. Let's not pretend that the rest of it's not going to be there. This show would not appeal to me if it was a clean show. What about you, Bubba?
Well, I'm going to give you 2 answers, which is not fair, but I'm going to go ahead and say it. I say that we always talk about, is it faithful to the story? Is it faithful to the book? And what's funny is this stuff really isn't in the book, these kind of adult scenes. Maybe they use the adult language, but these are kind of very simple stories that don't have any sex in them, that don't have gross body humor in them. And so in some ways, part of me says, well, you shouldn't add that. Let's keep it true to the story which it came from. But then I'm going to completely go against that and say, if I am HBO, I need people talking. Say what you will, and many people did, about the infamous sex position in those early seasons of Game of Thrones. But the big thing about it is it got people talking. People would talk about it. And so maybe people who weren't watching would hear about it and they'd be like, wait, what is this people are talking about? And what's crazy is, as great 8 out of 10 I've been giving these episodes, I keep saying, well, the story really doesn't feel like it's taken off yet. And so there aren't those, oh my God, they just killed this person, Game of Thrones type twist, right? And so how are you going to get people talking? I honestly think these scenes, love them or hate them, you go online, people talk about them. And so in the end, I think HBO is smart to put it in. I think it's effective. It's almost like marketing since after the show launches to get buzz about this show. And so while I don't necessarily love either of those scenes that happen right at the beginning of these episodes, I think if I'm a business, if I'm HBO, I actually think it works. And so I say keep them in. How do you like that, Catfish? I agree
like
with
how
you.
you tried to have your cake and eat it too. You can always say later on, but remember I also said this. Great job. When an answer
you.
only has 2 questions, when your first response is, I've got 2 answers, that's perfect. All right,
Thank you.
Bubba, let's get back to some more definitive feedback. That is feedback from our double L's.
Double L's?
Loyal listeners, and even
that's
some
what that stands
triple
for?
L's.
Triple L's.
Long-time loyal listeners. We've got feedback on this very episode from Gen X Cat Mom at All Mod Cons with a Z on Blue Sky. 9 out of 10 double M's.
Double M's.
Mastodonic manhood. That is amazing.
Oh my, hello.
You said, regarding the opening scene, the jokes write themselves, so I'll leave that to others. The casting is extremely good.
100%.
Seeley Pate captured the book vibe so well. Dunk is a dork, but his sincerity is endearing.
Aw.
Egg actor doing a lot of heavy lifting.
Yes.
A nuanced performance.
100% perfect feedback. Should have been 8 out of 10 Gen X kept on, but that's fine. Hey, Camille at CamShay23 on episode 2, she said, I really like this episode. It made me feel anxious, happy, and sad. Ooh.
That's everything.
Catfish, when do you think she felt sad? What am I missing? Maybe there at the end where he's realizing that Ser Arlan's been forgotten? Is that when you felt sad? Okay.
Yeah.
Camille continues, I can't wait to find out more about Egg. Oh, I hate that Dunk had to sell his horse. Ooh,
He had 3 already.
The jousting made me anxious. I could have done without the first scene. Oh, there you go. In the argument, I said that they should have cut it, Catfish.
The jousting, I have to say, we have seen some fighting on the show, but the jousting was thrilling.
Not fun. Ouch.
And even though I didn't want to, I watched some of the little coming up on, and it looks like that this tournament is going to be just so tense and amazing.
They need an endless supply of lances. Right?
Love it. Okay,
endless
Bubba,
breadsticks. Yeah.
some of our, what I like to call different triple L's.
Different triple L's.
Yeah, our late loyal listeners have some feedback on episode 1. Matthew Murdoch says a Monty Python skit of the Seven Kingdoms was pretty good.
Heck yeah.
The kid was great.
100%.
The rugby player was great. And while Baratheon was maybe smaller than I expected, the whole line by Dunk about his appearance was a nice inside acknowledgement of the casting. And I can't imagine this episode without that actor now. While the whistle buddy theme struck me as only slightly off-brand, I think Dan Romer should be proud of the work so far. The ending credits music was a masterpiece.
Wow.
That is our loyal listener, Matthew Murdoch, and also our magic master, Matthew Murdoch, who pipes in several times on the music when Bubba lets him.
Let me say that if Matt Murdoch is calling the end credits music a masterpiece, that means it's great. High praise indeed. Ronald Bolton.
Speaking of high praise indeed.
Ronald Bolton obviously has eaten something that didn't agree with him because he says, I agree with Catfish. I was not a strong lover of House of the Dragon. It's too serious and convoluted. I love this thing like the best seasons of Game of Thrones.
Awesome,
At least
Ronald.
here at the beginning, I agree with Catfish. Thank you, Ronald. Way to go.
And Jim Rodney says, I thought the shit scene was an obvious commentary on how the original Game of Thrones ended. Oh,
Whoa.
my God.
Whoa.
With that series' famous theme starting to flourish, only to be interrupted by what George R.R. Martin specifically thought about how they ended their version. That is credible. We love it when you put on your tinfoil caps here at the Joffrey of Podcasts. Oh, my God.
We love our good friend Holly Hunt Pants, who gave us this feedback. She wrote, I loved episode 1. I think they nailed the tone perfectly. I'd rather have a short series than a movie. That was our debate last week. We love Hunt Pants' opinion on that.
Absolutely. And Shirley777 says, I'm not sure yet if it should have been a movie. This was the long episode? LOL. Maybe later on, as I have to wait all week for like 15 minutes of actual content, I may wish it was a movie.
Sure.
I wonder what Shirley thought about the second episode. I wonder if the short story was enough for 6 episodes. But from what I see in this episode, they did an excellent job. Same exact feel of the source material, and so much more of the story to go. Shirley's excited to have more of the story, and Bubba's like, where's the damn story?
Hey now, Nick Fortuna, at Nicholas Fortuna on Twitter. follow one of the greatest match game answerers ever, but also gave us this feedback. He wrote, just watched the first episode, and I think this show is another winner. He gave episode 1 8 double Bs.
Double Bs?
Bursting bowels.
Oh, God.
Long live Sir Dunk of House Imodium.
Oh, my God. Leo, Leoh, says, happy to be a listener.
Thank you. We are happy you're listening. Good friend Zephyrcat wrote, I love it when you guys sing the Match Game song. It brings me back to watching that show as a little kid in the 70s. Oh, thank you.
Oh, that is great. And it brings Bubba back to watching it as a late 20s in the 70s.
I know. I love what? I watch Nick. Is it on Nick at Night or Game Show Network? Okay.
Yeah, sure. Seth Bell says, I would have thought it'd be better as a miniseries, 3 to 5 hour-and-a-half episodes. Oh, interesting.
Okay.
Well, this is going to be less time than that.
Yeah.
But W. Axel Foley says, make it a movie? No way.
Woo. Caro Joso said, I thought I would have Game of Thrones fatigue, but after that first episode, not at all. It was fresh and inviting, so let's go on another adventure. I look forward to seeing if any of my answers to the Match Game Match Years. My favorite characters in the first episode were the horses. I would rate it 9 out of 10 quadruple S's.
What quadruple S's?
Shooting stars show similarities. Mm-hmm.
Oh, interesting. And the founder of the feast, well, I know he wasn't the true founder, but the guy who's helped us so much, Pat Man, says, glad to see the Joffrey podcast active again in my podcast app of choice, which would be the Overcast app. Ooh, that sounds ominous. Great recap, and I'm glad that you both enjoyed the episode. Like Catfish, I was actually entertained by Dunk being overcome by anxiety or just bad digestion and having to take care of business behind the tree despite the Game of Thrones theme.
Well,
I didn't interpret it as a comment on the previous Game of Thrones show's quality, unlike some people, but that our protagonist Dunk was a normal, relatable guy with real-world concerns. I mean, we all assume Ned Stark and Robb Stark both pooped, but we don't have any evidence. Dunk is a different kind of protagonist. Then Pat Man imagined an interaction between Tywin and himself.
Tywin Lannister.
Says,
Now you see here. You had evidence of my natural biological processes when my ungrateful son bolted me in the privy.
Pat Man's response is, just stay dead, Tywin.
What?
No one wants to hear your opinion. Anyway,
Pat Man, you are no son of mine.
Catfish isn't the only person who thought that the whole hard pivot in tone was hilarious.
Oh, good.
Should it, The Night of the Seven Kingdoms, been a movie? Hell no. This way I'm getting 6 episodes at least of the Joffrey podcast, and that has made all the difference. Bubba, next week, episode 3 is called The Squire.
Ooh, is that about Dunk with, once again, Ser Arlan being a squire? Is it about Egg? Is it about a squire we don't even know? His buddy, the Fossaway squire, wasn't in this episode. We'll have to find out. For everybody here at Double PHQ, my name's Bubba, the one who rated this episode correctly. You can find me on social media at Fit and Trim. That's FITTENTRIM at Fit and Trim on social media.
And I'm Catfish. You can find me at G to the Man. That's GEETOTHEMAN on Instagram or Blue Sky. And we will talk to you next week on
The Joffrey of Podcasts.
I'm telling Mother. Oh.
So I had a lot of thoughts, a lot of takes I was going to say. Oh man, Catfish, you are so much like Ser Arlan. You both have gray hair.